One way that I like to annoy my husband is that when we get a package delivered and they ring the doorbell, my greatest hope is that I am like up on the second or third floor when it happens and he's on the first floor. So I'll come barreling down the stairs and I just sing out, "Here's the mail, it never fails. When it comes, it makes me want to wag my tail and well, mail." And it's like his least favorite thing ever that I do, but that makes me enjoy it a whole lot more. Okay, what time is it? It's shop my stash time, so I have my basket of goodies so we can talk about some of the hits, some of the items that will maybe stay in. I don't know. I think I'm just going to put everything back, and then if we happen to pick something out again that was in it, this previous time, then that's fine. So one thing I'm going to do, I realized, I was going back through and looking at, my old shop my stashes to see okay, are there products that you're just not using or gravitating towards? Is there some kind of little chopping block we need to come up with to decide if you actually want things? But what I realized was I would say all the time, I'm working on a blush in my project pan, so I don't want to pull in any blushes. And then in my last update for my Pan That Face palette, I just said I'm bored with the blushes, so I'm changing it out and bringing in a blush palette, which I still think is a good idea. I'm still standing behind that. But what I have realized is that, hello, Haley, play with your makeup. That's what a shop my stash is for. So I am no longer going to say things like, well, I'm project panning said item, so I can't pull one into my shop my stash. I am going to at least pull in one thing from every category of makeup, every shop my stash, no matter if I'm panning 50 blushes at the same time, I'm pulling in blush number 51 to shop my stash. So I think that'll also make it just a little more enjoyable for you guys, to watch it. But other than that, let's just get into this. And I have two items in here that are not part of my shop my stash. They're part of a project pan. They just happen to make their way in there. So the first thing I want to talk about, I know I said I wasn't going to buy anything in July, but hear me out. This was necessary. Now, I'm not wearing it today because of allergy season, but I've heard so many people rave about a lash primer. And I thought that lash primers were gimmicky. But Laura, you changed my mind, okay? So I was at CVS and I had some coupons and different things like that. So I ended up picking up the Milani, the Violet One Lash Primer. I am so glad that I did. Oh my goodness, this actually does something. It helps to lengthen and volumize my lashes because I was really getting frustrated with my Tarte Gifted mascara. It just wasn't it was making my lashes look stubby, and I do have stubby lashes, I know that, but this mascara, any mascara, I feel should make them look at least a hair better. So this primer, this lash primer, has saved the day. I have to rave about this. It's the only one that I have. It's the only one that I will have in my collection. Once this one gets to be older, I'll just go out and repurchase it, but that is a new makeup category that I have, but I'm really happy to have that in my life. I think that it is a wonderful product, and I just had to take a moment to shout it out. Okay, so what other hits can we talk about? I don't know. I really have been enjoying my Soph Makeup Revolution highlighting palette. I really think that I could potentially hit pan on this shade by the end of the year, which would be exciting because I do rave about this palette and it doesn't really look all that loved now, does it? But what I have been doing this past shop my stash is mixing these two shades, not these two together. I'll mix this one with the one in my Pan That Face palette and this one as well, and I've just really been enjoying that. I need to get more use out of these three shades because realistically, this is the darkest quad of the palette. I mean, there's only two quads, but this is the darker half of the palette, let's say. And so this time of year, in the summer where I'm more tan and things like that, that's really the only time that I could use these shades. I think this peachy one I could get away with more often, in the winter time, but the other three, no. So this might stay in just because I do want to get more use out of those three shades, is essentially what I'm trying to tell you. And we ramble. Okay, let's talk about the two eyeshadow palettes and then the liquid highlighter, and that'll kind of be it for this little recap thing. So I did bring in this Tarteist Pro Glow liquid highlighter in the shade Exposed. This, if I'm not mistaken, is my oldest cream highlighter. And for the life of me, I don't know why I worked on the ABH one first instead of this one. So I pulled this one in to see, like, is this too old? Like, do I need to, like, declutter it? Do I need to use it up in a body lotion? Like, can I use this on my face? Thankfully, I still can use it on my face. And I have used a lot of it, as you can tell. Like, I've already pushed the air pocket out of it. I'm just so, like, thrilled with myself to actually be going through liquid highlighters, and I love to mix them in with my foundation. So I haven't had a problem with this one. I am, like, unofficially panning this, I guess, now. So this will probably end back up in the basket, if we're being honest. Okay, and then I did pull out 2 eyeshadow palettes. So this one is from Etsy. It's from MBA Cosmetics. It's their Garden Party eyeshadow palette. I really like this. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the shade I used most was this green because it goes so perfectly with Subculture, but I did dip into some of the other shades a time or two, and I'm really happy with the use that I've gotten out of this, and I wanna put this one back because this is a little more, like, I'm into the grungy tones right now for this time of year, but this, just for some reason, the tones and the greens of this really make me think of fall, and so I want to put this away until like maybe September or October and then pull it back out. And then I did pull out the Kaleidos Futurism number 5, the Electro Turquoise. This was probably, when I ordered my 3 Kaleidos palettes, this one I like went back and forth on, like, why did you even order that? Like, that is just so not you, Haley. Like, you're lying to yourself. But I really have started to play with this, so much so, can you, like, tell that there's a dip on this Tron shade? Like, I'm just so impressed with myself. I never wear blue eyeshadow, and then here I am, loving it and playing with it. So, really happy, but I do want to put this one back, not because I haven't been loving it, but just because that's one, you know, reason to do these Shop My Stashes, is that I can really rotate through eyeshadow palettes. So that is all for the recap. So let's head on into the bedroom and I was about to say get down to business. That is so dirty. Oh my God. Let's just head on into where the vanity is and pick out new makeup, okay? Okay, so I do have to apologize. I have broken my tripod, so I think the angle of the camera is a little crooked, but we're just gonna deal with that, okay? So here's our empty basket. I did lay a few things out. These are things that are just gonna stay in for right now. So I only open up 1 mascara at a time. So the Tarte Gifted is still kicking, and then the Milani Lash Primer that I just raved about. Those can go in and stay. Then I would like to continue using my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This is just my favorite one that I have right now, and I have the shade Fair Warm. I feel like this is a pretty good shade match for me. I do like my concealers to be like 2 shades lighter than my foundations. I just like it. So yeah, gonna keep this one in. It's really nice. It doesn't make my under eyes look crepey in the slightest. We're gonna keep the Tarte Pro to Glow liquid highlighter in the shade Exposed in. This is the current eyeshadow primer that I've been working on. It's just the original one by Urban Decay. And then, like I've said before, the Bonnie Luminizer I got, and it is a highlighter from the Balm, but I use it as a glowy bronzer, and this is really the only time of year that I can use it, so I'm just keeping it in my Shop My Stash so that I can get the most use out of it possible. And I think if you maybe go back to the last Shop My Stash when I opened it, I think you can tell, like, the pan just keeps growing and growing on this, so really happy about that. Okay, so let's pick out a primer. I'm going to pick out this CoverGirl Outlast All Day Primer. It's my only matte primer I have right now, and for this time of year, I don't need a hydrating primer. So this, I really could have just told you, was staying in the basket. So for foundation, I have absolutely been loving the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer from ColourPop. I do have mine in the shade 4N, just in case you were wondering. I cannot put this down, so I want to bring this in as my tinted moisturizer. And then for foundation, to be quite honest, okay, I'm going to bring in 2, which might seem a little excessive, but hear me out. These are my 2 oldest foundations. So this one is the Jouer Essential High Coverage Creme Foundation, and I have mine in the shade Porcelain. And then this is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation, and I have mine in the shade 15 in Fair Light Neutral. Like I said, these are my two oldest. I know that I got this one during a Sephora VIB sale maybe 2 years ago, if I'm being honest, which is gross. This one, I don't know how old it is. I just know that it's old. I don't really remember my thoughts on these, and so I want to pull these in and get some use out of them. And, you know, I don't want them to expire. They're both pretty pricey. Like, even on sale, this was pricey, so we're going to bring these in. Okay. So then, I know it goes a little bit out of order, but it's just how we have it situated up here. I want to bring in this lip liner from NYX. It is in the shade, was it Nude Rose, I think? Nude Pink. So, oh, I have swatches from a different video on my hand. Oops. But here is Nude Pink right there. I think this will be really pretty. The other lip liner that I have in a project pan is like more darker than that one. So I think the Nude Pink will be fun to play around with, and as you saw, like, it's not even been used. I'm going to bring in 2 lip glosses. These are my NYX Butter Glosses. It's the only 2 glosses that I have. I have them in the shade Fortune Cookie and Tiramisu. So you probably can't even read those labels, but I'm not like lying to you about that. Okay, and then for a lipstick product, you know, I didn't really think this one through. I know it's not the time of year, but I want to bring in this Bite Beauty lipstick in the shade Chai. I know that this is dark, but this is a mini, and I've already gotten such great use on it. Here it is underneath the lip liner. I've already gotten such great use on it, and I would really love to finish this little guy off by the end of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. I think topping off one of those 2 glosses on top of it will also change the color and maybe not make it so vampy for right now, but in the fall time this will be like the perfect shade. Okay, and then so I think that's it for up here. We've gotten everything we can, so I'm going to switch the angle and we're going to open up our first drawer. I just quickly wanted to tell you guys that this drawer down here, it used to hold eyeshadow palettes. Now it's just a storage drawer, and you can see right here I have like one of these cloth bins from the dollar store. That's what I have been storing my eyeshadow palettes in, and I like that setup a lot better. This was just getting, it was a little impractical to get in and out of, and the way that I had to have them set up, and I had like a few shades crack and crumble on me, and I think it was because they were getting jostled around in here. They get less jostled in the bin. So just wanted to point that out to you. So let's start with blush, bronzer, and highlighter. So I was very sweetly gifted by my husband. He got the bronzer palette. I'll just talk about it now because I want to pull it in. He got from BH Cosmetics the bronzer, the blush, and the avocado toast palette for me, which I think was so sweet of him. So I haven't yet gotten to use them. I want to pull out this blush palette to play around with, this Georgia Peach shade. Oh, just, it looks so pretty. And then I do want to play with this deeper shade because out of the 6, this is the only one I'm hesitant on. I think I could get use and finish off these other 5, which would make this palette really great for me, but I just need to play around with that 6th shade. And then I will open up the Belgian Waffle Bronzer palette. Now this is really light. That's one thing that I will say, if you are any darker than me, I don't know if you could use this palette because I feel like this buttermilk shade is really light. This might end up being a setting powder for me, and then batter and cinnamon could both work as bronzers. These 2 highlighters both work for me. The one maple is a little dark, so I think that one might end up getting used as eyeshadow, but I do want to pull this out as well. Okay, so I think that'll be it for blushes and bronzers. That gives us a good bit to play around with. For loose powder, I want to pull out my Too Faced Born This Way. I've been working on the CYO one for like a long time, and there's not very much, I don't think you can really tell, there's not very much left in here. Ooh! Ooh, did you see that? This is why you don't remove sifters and shake your products. Actually, there's quite a lot left in there. Never mind. Just ignore me and ignore all that dust. Anyway, I only have these 2 powders, so I really want to just rotate and cycle between them, like use this one for a few months, then go back to the CYO one. So it's just this one's time to shine. Okay, and then for a setting powder, I think I'm gonna bring in this Kat Von D or KVD Vegan Beauty. I don't know. I got this at TJ Maxx back when she was still a part of it. But it's just their Lock-It powder foundation. I'm going to bring this in. Mine is in the shade Light 48. I don't think it's like the best shade match. It's a little dark, but this time of year would be the perfect time to pull this out. And then I really want to pull out, let's see, so we're good on liquid highlighters, good on bronzers, good on setting powders, loose powders, blushes, highlighters. Regular, just Joe Blow highlighters. We need to pull something out. So I'm going to take back out the Makeup Revolution Soph palette. And then I am also going to pull out this, not this one, this one. This is the ColourPop Super Shock highlighter in the shade Monster. It's like a white with like a pink shift to it. It's just very pretty. Hopefully you can see it there. Maybe if we build it up a little bit right there. I don't know. Look at that veiny arm. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so there's the highlighters we will pull out. I want to pull out, see, I told you this is going to be way more exciting. I'm going to pull out my Stila Glitter in the shade Kitten Karma. We all know what this looks like. I'm not going to swatch it. And then I want to pull out a ColourPop Super Shock shadow. And we're going to pull out the shade Here We Go Again, which is just a great yellow shade. I really love this. Look at that. Oh, so beautiful. So yeah, okay. That is it for in here. And I will switch the angle because all that's left in here is like eye primers and stuff like that, mascaras, which we don't need. So I will switch the angle and we will do eyeshadow palettes. Okay, so we're looking at the eyeshadow palettes, and I really like this little bin setup. I think it just works a lot better for me. Some of my palettes are missing from in here because I have them separated for like a different video. You know, you don't need to know about that right now. So we're just gonna pick from these two. So I try to think before I get on camera, like what palettes do I want to play with like this time around. And it just, like, I'll have an idea in mind, and then I get on here and we start filming this, and I'm like, this is hard. I don't know what to pick. So I think I am going to pull in the avocado toast. Now, I have used this palette a lot since he gifted it to me. Like, you can tell there's already a dip on this green juice shade. I just love it so much. This and the Haas shade are probably my two favorites out of here. But I do want to pull this palette out and get some more use out of it because it was a very thoughtful gift. And then let's just go with the other BH Cosmetics palette because this was also gifted to me from Kaylee. And if I am not mistaken, I've used like a few of the mattes in here, but I mostly gravitate towards the shimmers, and I love the BH Cosmetics formula. So I really do want to pull this out and get some more use out of it. Typically, we've only been pulling out 2 palettes, but I think I want to do 3, and I want to make the third palette like a quad or like something that's small. So I think that as far as that goes, we're going to pull out this palette from the Lip Bar. I have just absolutely fallen in love with this, and it's just 4 shades, and it's so simple, and I just want to get more use out of this because I really do like the formula. So alright, that should be it. That should wrap up this Shop My Stash. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you like it more that we're pulling out more stuff. I mean, I can't imagine that you would be like, no, please go back to pulling out basically no products. That's it though. I will just catch you guys in the next one, and I hope you're having a good day or a good night or whatever, and that is it. Thanks for watching. Bye!